This thing is 21 years old and I just passed the 200,000 mile mark. And as soon as I passed that 200,000 mile mark, naturally weird stuff started happening. So yeah. Hey everyone, Jackie here. I promised you a car tour once the art season started to see how I kind of utilize everything. So we're here in Grand Teton National Park. I am here for my second Jackson show of the season. And I figured, I think it's time to update you because the season is now almost over. And I'm right by the highway and I don't have a fancy little mic. So sorry if the cars are too loud. We're gonna come in a little closer now. That's a little bit better, isn't it? So here we are, my bed situation. So let me kind of explain actually from the very beginning how this all has worked out. I talked about this a little bit when I did my build out, but we have added a hitch to the back, and this is where some of my like bigger, heavier stuff goes. So this bag right here, this carries my director style camping chair, my canopy tent weights, and my wagon. And then kind of on the front part of this hitch is where I put my actual canopy tent for my art shows. And so that all goes on the back nicely, which is awesome. And then underneath, remind me when I get home to show you what this looks like when it's actually full of art. But this is where my art goes, and it actually does fit under here quite nicely. I actually have a couple boxes in the back, just stuff I didn't set out at this particular show. So it all fits under the bed and it works out. And then I have my clothes, and when I bring my stove and my kitchen, which I'll also show you when I get home because I didn't bring it, they also go up here. So this is the inside. We have Appa here. He's been keeping me company this weekend. I've found that because I'm so tall, I have to actually sleep crooked. So my mattress really only takes up about this much space. But when I have all my art stuff out, I've got plenty of room. So I have all my clothes are in that bucket, and then I usually will just stack the buckets. My kitchen bucket is the same size and it'll sit on top. And so I sleep in here quite nicely. Coming around to this side door, this is essentially my dressing room. My clothes are in here. These are my pajamas. I just have them out because I'll put them back on shortly. This is how I change in public, like out here in the Tetons where, you know, there's lots of cars running around. I just wrap my sarong around myself, and that's how I put on my clothes. And then I have a pillowcase for like dirty laundry, and I just kind of hide it under the bed, and then I'll pull it out when I have to put art under there. My window covers, as you can see, they all just slide in. I made them myself. I have a video on how I made them, but they just slide under here. So the ones that are off right now are under there. And yeah, it's pretty simple back here. This is my little lamp. Coming into my front, let me kind of show you where everything has ended up. So I have bug spray in my brush. This is kind of toiletries in here, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo and things. And then this is kind of just like everything else. This is my kitchen, a water jug, my fridge. Yes, my pretzels are in the fridge. That's just so the bears don't eat them. And I usually hide my camera back under here. Right now, my zipper broke to my camera bag, so I just have it out and I've been hiding it under my raincoat. And then my other bag just kind of sits up here because it's just easy access. And then this is my shower. Super cheap, nothing fancy. The reality is this is like rarely used. Typically when I go do an art show, I prefer to get a like paid campsite that has like a flushing toilet and a shower, because when I'm doing art shows, it gets hot, I get gross, and I don't want to try to be selling art all sweaty and nasty. So that's what I usually do. But Jackson is so freaking expensive that the one RV park in town is like $180 a night. So we don't do that. We go sleep in a secret spot that I'm not going to tell you. I will come out kind of to the middle of nowhere if I need to like sponge bath myself, and this has been a saver for it. So I just kind of hang it off my rack, and then Lefty-loosey turns it on. Not great power, but it does the job. Rather than like showering, I just kind of get a towel or a wash rag wet and then get soap on it and just kind of sponge bath myself. In case I forget to tell you about my kitchen, I have a little single burner camp stove. I have a little countertop that like folds out that I got from IKEA, utensils, pots, pans, that kind of thing, some spices. And I honestly haven't used it very much. I am the laziest camping cook you will ever meet because I want it to be like zero effort. Or I'm in a town, like I want to eat food. Like I want to try food in a town that I've either never been to before or something sounds good because I'm just lazy like that. So even though food in Jackson's really expensive, for where I camp, I can't really pull out my stove very easily. I just don't cook when I'm in Jackson and I just pay for the expensive Jackson food, which is subpar, by the way. I've tried multiple different restaurants every time I've come up here. I haven't really cared for any of it, so maybe next time I will be bringing my camp stove and just drive out to here to make dinner because it's a great dinner view. And then I can go back towards town to sleep. When I get home, I'll try to remember to show you my kitchen, as well as what this looks like when it's full of art, because when I pack it all up, it's a totally different ballgame. I do have a little bit of car emergency stuff in here too. Don't worry, I have my spare tire under this, and if I need to get it out, it'd be a bitch to get out, but I would get it out. My jumper cables and my toolbox are under the front part of this. They're up where like the back seats are. In my front glove compartment, I have my engine code reader, and I have a spare container of coolant under my passenger seat because I'm leaking coolant right now. So yeah, I have everything for, you know, some quickie little car emergencies. This thing is 21 years old and I just passed the 200,000 mile mark. And as soon as I passed that 200,000 mile mark, naturally weird stuff started happening. So yeah, my car is showing its age and I don't even know if it'll last till next season, but you know, it's done good this year. I have been very surprised how well it's held out. It is so loud by this road. I was hoping to find a quieter spot, but I'm gonna go see a movie in a little bit, so I didn't want to drive too far into the park. Oh, that's better. Now everybody's gone. Overall, I have enjoyed the setup. The one thing that has been rough this year is we have had some record heat. And let me tell you, trying to camp when it's 100 degrees in your car absolutely sucks, and I don't recommend it. I actually got heat exhaustion at a show, and luckily my cousins lived in that town. I didn't initially ask to stay with them because I wasn't sure what their situation was with a new toddler in the house, but luckily they had a guest room and they offered it to me, so I was able to take a cold shower and eat like ice cream and cool down and sleep in a cold basement instead of camping in 85 degree nighttime weather, because that's the temperature it was at night. One thing I forgot to mention that I sometimes will store in here as well that I didn't store this particular trip is my hiking gear, for obvious reasons. I usually try to shove all of my gear into my backpack so that it's all kind of packed together. I will store it like on top of my bed when I drive, and then I'll put it under the bed when I'm like sleeping. The one thing that hasn't really happened this year, I have not been able to sleep in my car with the art stuff in it at the same time. I could. I have a couple things that I kind of just like leave on top of my bed that I can like put in the hitch if I really wanted to try to like squish in here with art stuff. That is a conundrum that I have run into a little bit, but the reality is it hasn't been that big of a deal because frankly, I've been too tired to go do anything. That's been the frustrating reality of the situation this summer, is I've done too many shows. I'm exhausted when I do shows because it takes a lot of energy and effort to like set up and tear down and then bake in the sun for 3 days. There's not really like remaining energy typically to go adventure. Then I just want to go home when I'm done. I don't want to stay out longer. I just want to go home. The one time I brought my gear and planned to sleep in my car was between 2 Colorado shows that I had set up. When I went to Colorado initially, I got COVID, so I ended up quarantining at our family cabin where I'd be totally by myself and secluded, which was kind of nice, but also kind of frustrating because I want to go adventure when I do that. But I didn't have to sleep in my car. That is a bridge I will have to figure out if I wanted to try to adventure more between shows. It just has not been an ideal situation this summer for how much I've been doing shows. Next summer, I am planning less shows. I'm also planning less traveling. So this bed will actually probably become more of just a traditional car camp bed for like trailheads and being able to adventure, very much kind of like I wanted it to be in general. And so now I can utilize it for, you know, actually car camping. And it's a lot easier when I'm not hauling a bunch of art stuff around. So this is what we look like when we are all full of art stuff. So these are all my panels on top of the bed. I have a couple other things on my bed. And then under the bed, we have my metal pieces. I have a couple boxes under each side. So yeah, pretty easy setup. Sometimes I've put those panels up on the roof, but this is my, you know, lazy version. So far this season has been not good overall. I was hoping for better. Everything I kind of mathed out this year was based off of my averages from last season, because that's all the data I had, and I have not met that average at all. Travel expenses have been much more than I anticipated. I am kind of glad for the season to be sort of fizzling out. I have 2 shows left after this, and then I kind of transition into some other photography projects. We are transitioning seasons right now. That's where we're at.
Fucking sucks.
Well, this is not exactly how I thought my art season would end, but here we are. I'm unfortunately having to put my Jeep into retirement. I already cleaned everything out. I took my sleeping panel out, my hitch off, everything's ready to go so I can sell it or junkyard it. We're gonna try to sell it first for somebody who may be a Jeep enthusiast and wants to try to fix it. I was on my way to my last show, 9 miles from my exit, when my transfer case blew out. It is officially to a point where it's time for a new car. I kind of knew that this season. I knew the condition that my car was in. It's 21 years old. I hit 200,000 miles, and you know, it's okay. It's a little sad. There's been a lot of great memories in this car, not just this season with my art show and stuff, but even beforehand. But it's okay. I ended up missing that last art show of the season. I had a lot of sunken cost dealing with that weekend because I had to get my car towed home 500 miles, and if I had done an actual tow it would have been about $5,000, but my dad rented a trailer and came and got me. But even the cost of the trailer was still a lot. There was the cost of the tow to the nearest town, and then eating the sunken costs of missing out on that show and not getting my booth fee back, missing out on sales. With all that being said, I'm gonna drop a link in the description below. I am holding a end of season flash sale with all my metal pieces. If you have enjoyed my videos, if you like art, you wanna go check out what I have in stock right now that's on sale, click that link below. It'll take you right to it. This is just to help cover some of those sunken costs and hopefully get me a new summer home, because that's really what this is when I'm on the road for my shows, I live in my car, and that was the whole point. We need a new home. Make sure you also go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this with your friends. Make sure you go watch my first Jeep build out video if you haven't seen it already. For those of you fellow artists that may be looking at how to do art shows in the future, I am planning to make content about that as well. Sorry I've been a little busy this summer, but we are slowing down. It's time to make some new content, so see you next time.